see here in Aberdeen, Scotland. And what a final. It's England versus Scotland as Ronnie O'Sullivan faces the world #1 and reigning world champion. Commentators Neil Foulds and Clyde Everton.
One of snooker's great rivalries. Ronnie O'Sullivan and John Higgins have met 43 times in professional competition.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
O'Sullivan leads their personal head-to-head 25-18. But they're both capable of playing this game about as well as it can be played. So it's just a question of who does it on the day. .25 seconds per shot limit as usual. Only 7 timeouts permitted, spread across a possible 13 frames. So I don't think we'll see timeouts being taken too readily, too early.
Yes, and even that shot slightly rushed John in the end. He took his time over it, and the clock was ticking down. There's such a thing as a loosener, I guess that was it. Wouldn't have seen Ronnie missing that one. Overcut it by some margin.
O'Sullivan is usually such a good starter, but his surprising error has given Higgins a great chance to take the initiative.
Seven. 8.
The last 3 Premier League finals have been 6-0, 6-0 and 7-0, all in O'Sullivan's favour. And I feel that I can venture one prediction. It's not going to be 7-0 either way tonight.
He certainly wouldn't expect that to be the case.
15.
But did hear Ronnie say last night that with the shot clock the way it is and the momentum
16.
that you can gain from winning frames quickly, sometimes you just get away from your opponent. I thought that's the way Ronnie described it. That's been the case in previous finals. But it's John who starts best here.
$23. 24.
Higgins asking for the cue ball to be cleaned, and if the request comes from the player, the cleaning has to take place in the player's own time. Higgins has only 9 seconds left.
But John has certainly improved as the competition has gone on. Got more accustomed to the format and the fact that
30.
Hear the beeps going in the background. You've still got enough time to play the shot with some composure.
31.
Seems to have come to grips with all that nowadays.
$38. 39.
O'Sullivan is such a perfectionist. I just wonder if he's sitting there beating himself up inwardly for missing that comparatively easy ball, which has given Higgins this chance.
44.
A little bit early maybe in the match to be worrying too much. I mean, obviously he didn't want to miss the red and leave these, but a few more things might have to happen
45.
before Ronnie feels the pressure maybe, or worries about his own game too much.
$51. 52.
Well, plenty of points left on the table, still 83 left, but John's still in the balls.
59.
This next red is not an absolute gimme to the left centre. Didn't really want to be out of position like this. Should get this one. Won't want to use a timeout at this early stage of the match, I don't think. It's a good shot on 2 counts. The putt was slightly dodgy, and he's managed to get good position on the blue. Maybe just a fraction straight on this, which means he can't get close to his next red.
$65.
This red plus a colour would see Higgins pass the post in this opening frame.
Very good cueing. Held the cue ball off 2 cushions there. Made it look a simple shot, which it wasn't. It's a good start from John, this. Snooker's required for Ronnie. This red might be a tricky one, but it's a very good start.
Yes, and there were certainly no positional heroics from Higgins as he potted that black.
John Higgins 73 on the frame.
O'Sullivan missed a red that he wouldn't ordinarily miss. Higgins made 73 from it. Higgins leads by a frame to 0.
Action in frame 2. John Higgins at the table is just taking a timeout. Both players yet to score.
Well, he got some applause, but it wasn't as good a shot as you could have played, really. Hasn't gone up the table as far as he'd like. He didn't really play on the yellow. That was the problem, he just couldn't get down the table from it.
Played to leave the lowest red to right corner, but the cue ball came too far for that. Snookered on that red by the blue.
And he plays the attacking safety shot this time, swinging the cue ball around and opening up the reds. An excellent shot. He's considered, I think, one of the best safety players in the game is John. Mind you, that's not a bad shot either, I can tell you from there. That's first class. Even John taps the table on that occasion.
As good as the safety was, it did leave Higgins a chance of sorts. albeit at distance.
Once again, Ronnie trying to get the cue ball over on the right of the table, and that just cuts off John's options and his ways of getting back to vault. What a great shot. He may be forced into going for this because there's not too many routes back to Volk on safety. And that was his best way back to Volk. And putting the red.
One.
Just wonder if he'll fancy this brown. It's not straightforward along the cushion. He's got the option, of course, to go up behind the green or even try and knock the green in if he feels that confident.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
Well, he might just be able to go that way off one cushion. He's deciding to come the other side of the table. He's got to be a bit careful with this. Here's the red sticking out from the side of the pack. Well, he's gone in at speed. I'll tell you what, it's slightly risky, but it's worked out fine.
Although it takes time to fit the extension on his cue, it's a simple shot, so there won't be a time problem.
Yeah, I think it's just a question of a player not panicking really and realising that 5 seconds if he's on the shot is enough time to play it without rushing. Another good one. I'd like to just cover the reds just to the left of the pack. Just wonder if Ronnie can get to that side. Just maybe a bit of a red sticking out. That's the one that Ronnie's going to play. He's pushed the red near the pocket. It's just a matter of this is straight. They have a very slight angle on this one, which will help John get the cue ball down the table. There's his angle.
Kiss on the second red affected his position. Quite a tricky cut this to the left middle and tight on the cushion.
Well, he was lucky that he actually hit the blue on the way back, because otherwise the cue ball was heading down towards the reds. Blue is away from its spot. I think that made it more difficult actually. Good enough pop, just hitting the red on the way back. He managed to get down the table, that's fine. Nicely on the yellow. Would much prefer the black on its own spot, especially with the pink a little tied up as well. Don't know that he can get onto the black from this. There's too many reds in the way, in fact.
4.
There's between 2 or 3 different shots here. He's not really on the black ideally, and the yellow's the easiest of the colours, but again he's got to play a good shot to get down for red from here. Now there is a red pot into the right corner. It's fairly tight, but it will just creep past the other two. This time he'll be looking to get onto that black. I think it'll be probably a left-handed shot, this one, you feel. Could use the rest, but it's such an asset to be able to play left-handed. And not just play any shot. I mean, there's always been players over the years that can play competently left-handed. Ronnie plays all the same shots. Quite remarkable.
14.
Well, it mustn't be straightforward if Ronnie's had to have a look at the other end of the table, because usually he sees the shot to play very quickly. A little cannon here. Doesn't seem happy with it. Don't think the red will go past the other one. Well, there's confirmation that it won't, playing ball.
Sullivan 22.
Forced into a safety.
That's going to have to do, especially if it goes over the top of the green. It wasn't John's best safety shot of the match so far. A little fortunate. Nobody likes these. Made easier by the fact that he actually took a plant on. Still a terrific shot though, all the same. And this time he, well, here it is again. First of all, tremendous shot. I feel that Ronnie is just going to roll up behind this nasty shot.
Sullivan 1.
Cue ball very tight to the brown. Higgins doesn't have much of the side cushion to work with.
Well, he's going straight into the ball cushion. This is very awkward indeed, and he's just playing hit and hope. Well, he didn't give it a lot of thought, because I don't think there was really a shot on. Sometimes you just hope for the best. I think he's done the game. It's a wonderful chance.
1. Seven. 8.
He's overrun slightly. Again, could play left-handed. He wants to reach over for the pink, which I think he will.
$14.
40 in front. Should clinch the frame with reds and pinks.
I'm not sure what he's looking at, really. I mean, he's looking at the score for some reason. I can't imagine how he's not going to win the frame from here. He's got a big lead, and he needs, well, what does he need? He needs, after this, a red and a colour. I'm not sure why he was looking at the scores. He's miles clear in the frame, with plenty of open balls on.
21. 22.
Still looking at the scores, isn't he? Very strange that. He knows exactly how things stand in the frame. As far as I can see, this frame is over.
28.
In that, Higgins already needs one snooker.
29.
And as that red disappears, O'Sullivan has put him conclusively out of the frame.
I mean, you can never tell in snooker, but you just feel this will be a very close match this year, this final, after 3 absolute processions from Ronnie in the previous 3 years.
Well, they have played some epic matches.
49.
And if we're talking about close ones, then
51.
The Masters the year before last comes to mind. And Higgins just pipped O'Sullivan 10-9 on the final black.
54.
With a superb 67 clearance. So with that 54 break, Ronnie O'Sullivan levels the match at 1-all. O'Sullivan came here already with £33,000 to his name. Higgins qualified only in 4th place with £20,000 to his name.
Very cool, just to roll that red in as calmly as anything, knowing that he could leave something on.
Eight. Nine. 16. 17.
'Now, here's a big shot. He could top this and play top spin,
24.
Run through the pack of reds and play on the black. Could stun it in as well, maybe screw back. Well, I'm surprised he played it
25.
in that way, but taking it onto the pink without too many problems. I know a lot of players who would have played to run through and tried to stay on blacks at this stage.
Which would have also kept the red-black sequence going, and also the chance of 147 maximum, which would bring a £25,000 bonus. But Higgins obviously thought that playing onto pink was the right shot, focused on winning
31.
the frame, as he is.
32. 39. 40.
Into the pack from this blue will be the shot he's going to try. He was just checking to see what would happen. when he goes into the pack. He didn't want to knock a red in. Sometimes you can see that happening if you find a little plant in there somewhere. Well, he didn't really go into them full-bloodedly. Maybe there was something that was going to go close to a pocket if he did. Wouldn't be the best of splits, that.
45.
Could have played it more positively.
John Higgins, 45.
45 in the safety.
Foul. A miss.
O'Sullivan trying to hit the outside red as thinly as possible in order to disturb the reds as little as possible.
Well, that's the thin contact he's looking to make on that red. If he catches it too thick, the cue ball kind of heads towards the left-hand corner pocket. Much better attempt that time. Makes you wonder how far he missed the first one and why.
Well, I don't think he tried an ultra-thin contact with the second one, and we can see why he preferred the ultra-thin contact with his first shot choice, because he's nudged this red out of the bunch.
But he got away with it. I think John may have gotten away with that one as well, because I don't think anything's on. Well, it's the first long pot that he's missed, really. I always think these are the kind of situations where it's a little bit tricky on the 25 seconds. There's not any shot that springs to mind all that quickly. Ronnie forced into going for this one, though. What a shot. Shame he's not on the black perfectly, but it's a very clean pot all the same.
Yes, played it as a stun run through in case he missed it. If he'd stopped the cue ball dead and the red had wobbled, he would have left a sitter to the other corner for Higgins. If he'd known he was going to pot it, he would have played better position, but he rescues the situation with that excellent cutback.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Played the black so full-bloodedly. He really fancied it. Once if he had missed that cut back on the black, he left all these for John.
9. $14. 15.
That's the red he wants to play on. Get that one out of the way. Clears the black to both pockets.
$22. 23.
A little surprised he went into those, but it's absolutely perfect again. There's
30.
a couple of reds he could have comfortably played on. I guess he's going to need those two reds that were tied up if he's going to win the frame, being a few points behind.
31.
O'Sullivan usually deadly in clearing up in this kind of position.
39.
It's never as easy as it looks, but you've still got to fancy him very strongly to take a 2-1 lead at this visit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're John, you're just looking for one ball on the table that's going to be tricky, but
46.
the fact is nothing is tricky for Ronnie here. You think, unless,
47.
I don't know, just somehow gets out of position. It doesn't seem likely to happen. They're in regulation positions.
And this break coming from a thunderous initial red, which O'Sullivan didn't really want to play, but
54.
there was no real alternative.
55.
And choosing to play down the table onto a lower colour to make it easier to get onto the last red. So he's keeping things pretty simple. On this yellow, it's just a soft screw. And he once again has checked the scores.
57.
Depends what colour he takes with this red as to how far into the colours that he needs to go to make the frame safe.
58.
Now that he's potted the brown, you need up to the brown to win it. It's not perfect. Don't think it's going to cause huge problems.
62.
It's a shot that he's still got to play right.
Oh, didn't want that.
64.
Yeah, you could say that again. I mean, this will be a good shot left-handed. Delicate, soft screw off 2 cushions. Oh, brilliant. But again, he's overrun. And
67.
I don't know, the pressure's just building here. This is frame ball coming up. Could miss this.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 67.
Well, O'Sullivan breaks down with lesser position. 1 ball short of a 2-1 lead. Well, there was Higgins' chance, his unexpected chance to snatch a 2-1 lead himself. He's lucky that the brown has gone as safe as it has. Frame ball, and it was a good one. At the speed he played it, the brown would surely have been on for Higgins had it not dropped. Well, a fluke on the blue for good measure.
$15 on the frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
So O'Sullivan largely through a 67 break, takes a 2-1 lead, even though Higgins will certainly be unhappy that he's brought the end red down and left it potable to right middle.
He may have gone a little too far for the black. Sure he has. He's already now looking at something else. Probably a safety shot, I should think. I mean, he could go for the green. I don't think he will.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
Well, that's a let-off really for Higgins, having bungled his break-off shot. O'Sullivan just dropping out of position from his initial red. Even for someone with O'Sullivan's great touch, the ultra-fast table can sometimes be a problem in certain shots.
He needs some cover here behind the yellow, and he's got it because there was a red sticking out.
Yes, that is exactly how O'Sullivan played that shot, with yellow and brown so close together.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4. One.
That must have been pretty tight. Well worth a go though, if it did go, which just crept in off the jaw of the pocket.
That wasn't easy though. Straighter would have been easier.
Yeah, always at the left hand part of the pocket, wasn't it? Never really in.
1. Eight. Time out.
So Higgins takes the second of his 7 permitted timeouts.
Nine. Sixteen. 17.
A little straight on this. Wanted an angle on the black, but he hasn't got one. You can see gun barrel straight, that is.
$24.
This time he's got some angle. It could go into them. There is a red sticking out of the pack. Just feel this is his best chance though to go into the pack. Oh, that's well judged. He's on the bottom one at least. He may actually be on
32.
the red above it, and that would be the one he would like to play. Yep, that one will pop.
33.
I think that was a bad contact. And what that has done is it's not really left him
40.
straight enough on the red. He can pot it, but here it is. Now this to me kick, yeah, definitely jumped. So his cue ball is just not in the right position. He's got to use the other red to get position on the colour.
John Higgins 40.
And also, because the potting angle is half ball, It was missable, particularly thinking a lot about position.
One.
So how costly will that be? I'm sure John feels a little hard done by because he definitely got a bad reaction from the black.
Well, Higgins lost the last frame from 49 to 0.
Just another example of how good Ronnie's cue ball control is. It was a tremendous shot to get over there. John, I'm sure, still thinking about what went wrong the shot before for him. And
6.
Getting the pink away from the blue is handy for Ronnie as well.
Yes, Higgins was 36 in front when he lost position. It looked as if he was going to go on to make a frame-winning break, but instead O'Sullivan, though still 22 behind, is at the table.
12.
Yeah, not quite perfect here though again. Oh, good shot.
13.
Once again, it was a bit like the shot that John had really, but into the middle pocket where he had to use another red to get position. Now he played to develop that red, and because he didn't really hit it full ball, he's lost the cue ball slightly.
20.
And this would be a missable shot. Slightly awkward cueing. No certainty this.
No, as you said,
20.
Neil, the cueing was a bit of a problem. He couldn't put his bridge hand exactly where he wanted it. It was either slightly closer than he wanted or slightly further away because of the position of the green.
8. Time out.
So that's Higgins' third time out of his permitted 7, and he needed it in order to get all the equipment assembled. And he does want to get rid of this red because it will make the one above it potable to the same pocket.
3 timeouts used though, and you just get the feeling that if he's used the timeout on this, he needs to make sure he wins the frame from it.
Cue ball a little lower than he would have liked.
He's got an angle on the black, which I think he's got to play a very delicate one. He's going to hold for the next red unless he decides to go all around the table. He's played it slowly. A little further away from the red than he would have wanted. Should be okay though.
16.
Just this red needed.
24.
And he's on it just as he intended to be.
25. $32. 33.
Yes, with the frame
40.
in the bag, he could risk try to move the green.
John Higgins 40 on the frame.
So, with that break of 40, John Higgins levels the match.
More remaining.
Well, should he go on to win this match, Phil, there's no way he can get through it without at least another one time out. So this could be a mistake that he's taken so many so early.
A measure of O'Sullivan's popularity. We're in Scotland. O'Sullivan is playing a Scot, and yet a large proportion of the crowd are shouting, "Come on, Ronnie." It's a little bit like the Jimmy White influence in the 80s and 90s.
Yes, it was always tough playing a Londoner at Wembley at the Masters. Great shot. Whenever you used to play something like Jimmy or Davis at the Masters and you were playing and your white was entering or going anywhere near a pocket, even though you knew yourself it wasn't going off, they'd be shouting "get in" and things like that. It was tough.
Mind you, with Jimmy, and indeed Ronnie, I've seen crowds in Glasgow, Sunderland, all over the place shout
8
for the players who are regarded as the people's champions.
9.
Now do these two reds pot? If they pot in the left-hand corner, he won't be playing a cannon. If they don't pot, he'll play a cannon. Left-hand side needed if they are available. There's the left-hand side, which tells you they definitely are available.
I'll tell you where Ronnie O'Sullivan is extremely popular out there in the People's Republic of China. He's just signed a very lucrative endorsement
16.
deal. He's involved in TV commercials out there, based along the lines of
17.
007. And he cuts quite a dash. Daniel Craig wants you back.
Well, he's certainly attractive enough, isn't he, to be an actor, bless him. And he's certainly one of the best players I've ever seen.
24.
Got a lot going for him.
I suppose it could be 00147.
25.
All about the power in the action here. Stun is no good this time. This time you've got to screw into these to get the white moving. There's the white you see screwing into the bunch. If it had stunned into them, they'd have stuck. Just keep an eye on the white. You see how it took off again on the second kiss.
Big shot, this.
Well, great shot, great kiss.
33.
He probably felt that the white might end up in the balk area there. The fact that he had a double kiss on the red. Just got to avoid the cannon on the green and brown both times. Once on the way down and once on the way back. Swung it around the two cushions to make sure there was no chance of kissing them. That's very, very good.
38.
How has he not won a ranking event for 2.5 years, this guy?
Well, it's just preposterous, really. Last time he won a ranking event was the Irish Masters in March 2005.
Shows you the strength and
44.
depth we have now, Phil, in professional snooker. But when he's playing like this, I know, okay, John Higgins has missed a few tonight, to be fair,
45.
but he makes it look preposterously easy.
People say, why does he do so well in the Premier League? Well, one reason is that obviously the shot clock suits his fluent, smooth game. That's indisputable. But also, I think he warms to the fact that he comes to
50.
venues and every time he plays, there's a sizable crowd, mostly a capacity crowd, and that really appeals.
Slightly out of position here, so good shot needed to keep the break going.
51.
Break goes to 51, the lead to 38. So needs one sizable colour off the loose red. That's the reason you play for the loose red rather than open the reds into play, because he only needs pink or black off this red.
58.
That was unusual. We actually saw Ronnie change his mind on the shot there. He got down to play the screw shot for the black and realised he got an angle to get onto the blue. Knows that the blue's enough as well.
Yes, but the blue would put him 51 points ahead with 51 on. This red is not a certainty.
64.
I'll just have an even pound, he pots it.
He's a long distance runner. Here's Ronnie O'Sullivan tonight. Izzy sprinting to the line.
Breaks of 80 to level at 3 all.
68.
104 to go 4-3 in front. 86 to go 5-3 in front.
69.
69 and counting to go 6-3 in front. This is a fantastic run of power snooker from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
$76. $77.
It's quite deceiving, the run of the last 4 frames, because it's been John Higgins who's let Ronnie in from his own mistakes. Ronnie's not knocked a long ball in to get these breaks he's just had. It's always been off a miss from Higgins, so you know, this is a false scoreline really as far as Higgins is concerned, because he's been in first virtually on every one of these 4 frames that he's lost.
$88.
Just 3 pots away now from another century. Would be, you know, his 24th of the season, O'Sullivan.
92.
And I think he's got a chance of possibly breaking Hendry's record for a season of 53. Certainly well on course.
And these
97.
players have been pros for 10-15 years, haven't made 53 in their life in professional snooker. Never mind only 1 season.
103.
The supporters are delighted. The rocket is now really in overdrive.
He's got a shot on here, but he's going to have to play this red thick, so it hits the right-hand cushion first. If he hits it thin, he'll do well to avoid the in-off. But it'll be interesting to see whether he plays off the right-hand cushion first, not off the back cushion first. Well, he's playing it really fine. Oh, he's played that well. That was a tough shot to play. That's a little unlucky. That was very, very tough to play it that fine. Now, is John going to risk running through for the black here, or will he play it as a shot to nothing and try and screw back for blue or green? He's hitting the ball very low, I think. That's more like the John Higgins we know. Where has he been for the last 4 frames?
Could that be the launch of the fight back?
Another wonderful example there of seeing anybody outside the top 4 in the world may have played for the loose red there that was on just to the right of the black, as we can see the hove red. But these top players, regardless of if it's loose reds on, they will try and win the frame at 1 visit. If you get the angle to go into them, get into them and get them spread.
7.
And that's what he's done here. And the black's going to be free in both pockets very shortly, because it's easy to get onto either of those 2 reds to the right and left of the black.
The fluency of the snooker tonight has been top-notch.
12.
9 frames so far, only one of them has taken over 12 minutes.
Just the 1 key shot, the red that's to the left of the black there, nearer the pocket. That's the only ball he has to get rid of here, and that will make things a lot easier. He'll be doing it off to the next black. And then he will have a chance to win the frame at 1 visit, something he hasn't done since the opening frame.
$19.
Doesn't want to be straight on this red. Appears to have a slight angle to be able to have this stun run through off 1 cushion, or just screw it in choice of shots he can play here. And just ran through off one cushion.
27.
And now the frame's at his mercy.
$34. $35.
Amazing enough, this is John's highest break since he went 3-2 in front, where he made breaks of 42 and 35.
42.
So he's had precious little table time in the last 4 frames, and this is a good effort.
43.
Yes, we've seen O'Sullivan win 4 consecutive frames. But that's the beauty of this rivalry. Higgins
50.
quite capable of doing exactly the same.
$51.
He's got the angle here to trot on the reds without playing a cannon, just run through with a little bit of topspin. One cushion, choice of 2 reds. That's the key of break building, of course. Never leave
58.
yourself straight on the black. Always leave yourself a little bit of room so you can either come off 1 cushion or 2 sometimes.
59.
Needs to get straight on the next red because the black's only available into the left-hand corner now, so he doesn't need to leave an angle on the red. Needs to be straight so he can get onto the black comfortably.
The one positive for O'Sullivan here, it's not as though he's allowed Higgins to the table through a glaring
66.
mistake. Being off on the safety was extremely unfortunate.
67.
Round of applause tells you that that was frame ball. And now he can concentrate on making his first century in this evening's match.
$74.
True champions never lie down. And this is an excellent performance from John Higgins.
75. $82. $83.
And just to re-establish some rhythm, this is the perfect frame for Higgins.
You just checked with Paul Collier there what the highest break was, and just looking at what's happening at the minute, 88 and 51, he can only get 139, so he can't get the highest break.
89.
What a standard.
It's the lowest break in the last 5 frames has been 80.
97.
Amazing. Little cannon needed, but the hundreds of certainty. Can he get the cannon to bring this last red into play? Decided to leave the long red on instead. Made sure of the century. Well played. The 3rd century in this match this evening.
104.
The kick on the last red, but by then the damage was well and truly done. Anyone who thought this match was over had better think again. Higgins comes back, and comes back convincingly. 6-4, a possible 3 to go.
Just a couple of cameramen having a little chat at this end of the table. They don't realise we were coming back. Ready to start. O'Sullivan breaking off in what he hopes is the last frame.
Has the red crept enough over the middle pocket? A lot to ask. And Higgins did not get a good contact either. One of those shots that looks easy but isn't. Well done.
Doesn't have the right angle on the green to go into them at pace, so he'll probably play for the loose red here, knowing that he's looking at the brown as well. Brown or green, he can either play the brown round 3 cushions or the green off directly or 1 cushion. Played it off just the 1 cushion. This is one of those where screwing is no good into the red. You need to play the forcing stun into this red that I'm going to put up just above the red here. Needs to get a forcing stun through that and push through. Well, he screwed it, so he's going to have to rely on a bit of good fortune here. And he hasn't really got that.
12.
See, once you screw into this kind of shot, he must have felt that he'd got a good chance of being on the red that's just past the cue ball there. It's a tough shot, this one. Oh, that's an excellent shot.
13.
It was an excellent pot, but the kick has left the cue ball too close to the side cushion. There it is, look. The red jumping off the bed of the table. And consequently, tremendous recovery pot on the black.
I think that's another thing with the top players, Phil. They put adversity straight to the back of the mind. A lot of players there would have a kick, think, well, I'm not perfect now, why is this happening to me? These top players, I mean, I was one of the worst in the world if I had a kick. I think, you know, the world's coming to an end, but they just get down and carry on. Excellent series of pots we've just had from Ronnie. Not left an angle on the black though here, so he's got a little bit of trouble in getting on the next red. So much so, end of break.
28.
Cleverly played.
Sullivan, 28.
That's one of O'Sullivan's great assets that's underappreciated. The fact that when he puts his mind to it, he's got a sharp tactical brain.
Thin safety shot required here. These are not easy. You've always got to... Everybody uses an R's, but you've always got to err on the side of hitting that shot too thin. You'd rather miss it than hit it thick and leave everything at this end of the table. That's the line that he's trying to get the cue ball to go on, but of course if you catch it a little bit thick, the in-off all of a sudden is on. So he's got to make sure he catches this thin enough to miss the in-off, and thick enough to get back into baulk. See, that's always the problem. It's such a difficult shot to play. He's been lucky, to be fair. Well, I say lucky, I mean he's left a pot on, but it could have been a lot worse.
One of those instances where had he given the 4 penalty points away by going in off, he might have been better off.
1.
In his own mind, O'Sullivan will be thinking, I should win the title from here.
Can't quite tell whether you can just roll this blue in dead weight for the red to the right of the black. Oh, this has gone astray. This is unlike O'Sullivan, isn't it, to have frame and match with an opportunity and let one go.
6. Sullivan, 6.
Another example, Phil, of sometimes it's better to leave the white in an awkward position rather than play for a snooker. A lot of players would have been trying to hide the cue ball behind green or brown there. O'Sullivan actually trying to leave the cue ball in the jaws to make the safety a little bit more difficult.
The white was too fierce there, and so a kiss on the green was very beneficial.
Looked at the opportunity of playing a slow swerve there to try and make a thin contact on them. The only safe place is resting on the reds just below the pink, and the middle pocket appears in the way to do it naturally. He's taken the time out. I've put a line up there that he'd have to play with a lot of left-hand side there just before the jaws of the middle pocket to rest on those two reds. If he plays it firm, he's got to be very, very careful. Plain ball, he would hit the pink, so he's got to play with a little bit of left-hand side just to widen the angle a little bit, and that's perfect. Well played. It's perfect.
Time out. Last one.
His last time out. If he wins this frame, it'll be interesting to see whether he can get away without using another one.
It's undoubtedly a gamble. Potentially lots of snooker left in this.
Poor safety, but he hasn't pushed the red into play. Similar scenario for John Higgins here. He's got to make sure he doesn't make contact with green or blue on the way back with the cue ball. Play it very, very thin. That's a good weight. Clever shot that, because he's covering the left-hand side of the packet with green and blue, which makes his safety a little bit tougher for Ronnie.
Yes, the channels to get back to Bulk are quite narrow. Is he taking this red on?
Yes, he's refusing the safety shot I put up, and he's playing this shot as a shot to nothing, and boy, what a shot it was. Wasn't sure whether he could get round the back of the pack, but goodness me, he played that shot beautifully. You can't hit a ball better than that. When you play a good safety shot like John Higgins has just done, you think, oh, come on, Ronnie, have a go at this. I don't mind you having a go at this. Then when it goes in, you think, oh, no. Once again, taking the opportunity to mature things at one shot, and there again you see another example.
O'Sullivan 41-0 ahead in frame number 11. Bang in amongst the balls. Prospects for Higgins looking bleak.
Once again, he's had a couple of half chances in this frame. So it's a match that doesn't really tell the full story. Yes, O'Sullivan has played the better of the two players, but a lot of the times it's been through John Higgins' mistakes, not from Ronnie O'Sullivan's good opening pots.
11.
It's an amazing performance, Phil, isn't it, in this format, should he go on to win this title now at this visit, to have won it 4 years on the trot.
Well, only the cream are in this event, and those 6-frame matches are the epitome of cutthroat snooker. He put together a 24-match unbeaten run at one point, before that was ended by Stephen Hendry in the league phase of this season's event. But when it comes to the playoffs,
20.
O'Sullivan has no equal. Remember, hadn't dropped a frame in the final of this tournament in each of the past 3 campaigns.
$26.
The end could be nigh.
I think I'm right in saying it's almost a year since he's won a tournament. Was the Masters at Wembley his last tournament victory?
3 titles last season. This, of course, the Masters at Wembley and the lower profile Kilkenny Masters in Ireland.
27.
So it will be good for O'Sullivan to taste success again.
A glance at the scoreboard tells him that this is frame and match ball.
the result is in stone.
41.
And O'Sullivan retains the title.
42.
But he doesn't want to stop potting balls just yet.
$46. 47. 54. 55.
And the scoring has been prolific.
$61. 62.
When he's at his best, quite simply, there's no one better.
$67. 69.
'The task has been completed. After 9 barren months without a trophy, Ronnie O'Sullivan returns to the winner's circle. And his stranglehold on the partybets.com Premier League continues for another year.